Knowing is only half the battle. The real challenge, folks, is when it comes to putting your money down. Now, in the highly competitive world of plush, fully loaded C-segment sedans, how do you decide which one is the right one for you? Well, have no fear, because we at PowerDrift are here. We've assembled 3 of the hottest contenders in this segment. We've put in the work, we've done the math, and we've crunched the numbers. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you which of these 3 is the smarter choice. So then, folks, these 3 cars have a lot in common, starting with the fact that they give you an upgrade to the sedan life. To those of whom the word compact doesn't define your vehicular choices anymore, these are the cars you need to look for. On top of that, each of these cars also come equipped with naturally aspirated petrol engines producing over 100 horsepower and giving you the option of automatic transmissions and big boots. Additionally, each of these cars are also fully loaded. We are talking about leather-wrapped seats, front and rear armrests, cruise control, rear AC vents, rear view cameras, smart keys, engine start-stop buttons. You get the drill. So then, these 3 cars do have a lot in common, but what makes them different? Well, let's get into it. Each of the cars are quite distinct looking. First off, we have the City. This is the sportiest design of the 3 cars. I particularly like the jewel finish on those LED DRLs. The Yaris adopts a more mature approach to its design. The main design highlights, however, are right up in front with that big, massive blackened out grille, accentuated by those almost sideburn-like elements in the bumper. The Verna of the 3 is the most imposing car to look at. The overall silhouette of the Verna is nice and coupe-like. Up in front, you have that big cascading front grille. Towards the side, there is a nice strong shoulder line, and towards the rear, wraparound tail lamps. And when it comes to the overall proportions on the 3 cars, they're all pretty much identical. However, the Yaris does have a slightly smaller wheelbase. I personally feel that the City is the best looking of the 3 cars, but what do you think? Well, you can let us know in the comments below. Now, all these 3 cars have a lot of features in common, namely automatic climate control, push button start, keyless entry, and so on. But the Verna in this case is the most feature loaded of the 3, and here is why. It comes with ventilated front seats, sunroof, a smart trunk. It also has the best audio system of the 3, audio by Alchemist, and even access to the AutoLink app, which is quite a useful feature. The Yaris, however, isn't far behind, and its features are geared to make your life more comfortable. The Yaris comes with an electric driver's seat that's 6-way adjustable, with sonar display that warns you of obstacles, a 4.2-inch TFT color display on the instrument cluster. It also comes with front parking sensors, which in India is quite a big deal. The infotainment system on the Yaris doesn't come equipped with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and Toyota's explanation for the same is they feel that these services aren't the best when it comes to protecting customer information. However, the system that they've installed that essentially emulates these features isn't really the best. The viewing angles on the screen aren't really the best. The City, on the other hand, is the least equipped of the 3 cars. The DigiPad infotainment system on the City is better than the Yaris's, and it also comes with full LED headlamps and a sunroof, which is nice. However, the City does miss out on a few convenience features that we take for granted. For example, the City doesn't come with rear parking sensors across the board. Alright folks, next up we have safety and practicality. In this case, it goes to the Yaris hands down, because the Yaris offers 7 airbags with ABS, EBD and brake assist standard across the range. The top-end variant of the Yaris also brings in things like traction control, vehicle stability control, and so on. Now, the City and the Verna offer up to 6 airbags on the very topmost ranges. Each of the 3 cars offer 1-liter bottle holders in each of the door bins and plenty of smart storage cubby spaces in and around the cabin. The City in this case offers the biggest boot space of the 3 cars. However, the Yaris also comes equipped with 60-40 split seats, which means that you can flip down the seats and then you get access to more space than both those other 2 cars as well. When it comes to the rear seats on all these 3 cars, there isn't a lot that sets them apart, but each of these cars have their own distinct advantages. Starting with the City, it offers the most amount of leg, knee, shoulder and headroom. Also, the seats on the City are the most comfortable, so it feels more like a lounge-like experience. The Verna, on the other hand, we felt that the rear seats were the best contoured and gave you a lot more support, especially in the lower back. However, the Verna is good for 2 people but definitely a squeeze for 3, and the occupants will find themselves sitting a little bit lower than the other 2 cars. The Yaris offers more legroom than the Verna. However, the passengers in the back are going to be seated at a more upright position, which means that headroom is definitely quite a squeeze on. Then there are question of the Yaris's interesting rear AC vents. What it is a system that sucks in the air from the cabin and redistributes it through the wind vanes. It isn't as effective at cooling than standard rear AC vents that both the other cars actually have. So in short, the City does offer the most space for passengers in the rear, but which of these cars is the most comfortable or fun to drive? Well, the only way to find out is to head out there and take the cars for a spin. Alright folks, the first car we're going to be driving today is the Verna. Now before we get into talking about the engine and the driving dynamics, I have to say I love the ergonomics on the car. I like the fact that everything is angled towards the driver. There's a nice comfortable dead pedal as well to put your left foot in when you're not operating the clutch. There are well thought out spaces to keep your phone and your keys, and all the controls on the car are within reach. Now when it comes to engine options, the Verna on paper offers the largest and the most powerful engines. You have a 1.6 diesel and a 1.6 petrol. That's the one we're driving today. It is also offered in a choice of manual and automatic transmissions, and unlike other cars in this segment, the automatic transmission comes with a torque converter unit, not your CVT or your AGS. Now today we're driving the 1.6 petrol mated to the 6-speed manual transmission. First off, the engine is pretty punchy. There is a lot of mid and low range grunt, but over 4,000 RPM, there's a noticeable flat spot in the power band. When it comes to the gear shifts, well, starting with the lever, it is fairly precise and the stubby gear lever feels nice to hold. So it's weighted pretty well, it gets the job done. Now it comes to the steering. In typical Hyundai fashion, it's light, it's also very numb. Given the fact that this new Verna is based on the K2 platform, same platform that we've seen with the Elantra, it is pretty competent in the corners. It holds its own pretty well. Of course, overall the suspension setup on this car is very soft, so especially in the rear tends to get pretty light, especially under heavier cornering. The tires that we're running, these standard Hankooks, are more geared towards efficiency and ride comfort than handling as well. Now the brakes on the Verna are good, but the point of the matter is they get the job done. Overall, when it comes to the driving experience, I would say the Verna sort of slots in between the Yaris and the City. Okay, so the next car we're driving, ladies and gentlemen, is the Yaris. The Yaris is powered by a 1.5 litre petrol motor, 106 bhp, 140 meters of torque. It does not come with a diesel engine option just yet. But in their defense, a majority of sales of customers in this segment prefer petrol motors over diesel engines. With the Yaris, you have a nice commanding view. You sit higher up compared to the other 2 cars. But I feel like the ergonomics on this car could have been improved. Unlike the Verna, that you don't really have much of a dead pedal to rest your left leg, and also the steering wheel is only adjustable for tilt and not for reach. The Yaris is available in a choice of 6-speed manual or 7-speed CVT. We have the CVT variant with us today, and I really like this CVT gearbox. It's one of the better CVT gearboxes I have driven. It eliminates a lot of that rubber band effect that we've seen on other CVTs, especially the one on the City. It's fairly responsive. It does a good job of putting the power down, and the power delivery, as you would expect in a car like this, is nice and linear. And it also comes with the manual mode. It's got paddle shifters as well. So when you flip it into manual mode and use the paddle shifters and you go right up the rev range, I really like the sound of the engine. I think it's the best sounding of the 3. But the handling on this car. So this car does roll around quite a bit in the corners. This car, when it comes to ride quality, is really good. The whole motto of the Yaris is to just offer the most comfortable ride as possible. So everything on the car is geared towards comfort. Soft supple suspension, acoustic cut glass, generous use of insulating material inside the cabin and in and around the engine bay. You can barely hear the engine noise when you're just puttering around town. On top of that, the car is extremely safe. It comes with 7 airbags as standard, and it's got 4-wheel disc brakes. So the brakes on this car are just really good. definitely the best amongst the three. If I have to sum up my driving experience with the Yaris, I would say this is the least driver focused of the three cars, but it is definitely the most comfort focused of the three. And all that's left to do for us then, ladies and gentlemen, is to take the city for a spin. And we have saved the best for last, the city. Spoiler alert. Now the city comes with a choice of two engine options. We have the petrol with us today. It's available on a choice of a 7-speed CVT and a 5-speed manual. I've driven the CVT and I think the manual is the way to go. The CVT gearbox doesn't do justice to the engine and extract maximum performance out of it. It has too much of that rubber bandy effect and takes a while to put the power down. Now this is a car that loves to rev. The gear shifts on this car are so slick and precise, definitely the best of the three. The steering on this car is good, it's weighted just right. There's a lot of feedback coming in through the steering wheel. It's easy to tell what the car is doing. The handling as well, the suspension is spot on between suppleness and stiffness as well. And yes, it has a narrow A-pillar as well, so the visibility out is really good. This is the kind of car for the person that really enjoys driving, but when you're done mucking around, just shift it into top gear, keep the engine under 3000 RPM, and the car completely transforms. It's now fairly quiet, although I do have to say that of all the three cars that we're driving here today, this is the least refined of the three. There is a fair amount of tire noise and wind noise that comes into the cabin. All said and done, to me, the City offers the best balance between ride and handling of these three cars. Alright then, to be honest, there isn't a lot between these three vehicles and each of them have their own strengths. So this is how I would sum it up. The Verna is the most youthful of the three cars with its tech-heavy features. The Yaris is the most mature of the three cars with its comfortable and plush ride. The City offers the most space, and of the three cars, it's definitely the most fun to drive. Of all the three cars, we believe that the Yaris is the smarter choice, and here is why. If you look at the prices of all the three cars, the Yaris is marginally more expensive than the City by about 4,000 rupees and over a lakh rupees more expensive than the E variant of the Verna. However, the E variant of the Verna with 1.4 petrol isn't a car you should consider because it is so ill-equipped it doesn't even come with an audio system. A more comparable variant to the Yaris's base model J variant is the EX variant of the Verna, and that is actually marginally more expensive than the Yaris's J variant. And even at the very base level of the Yaris, you do get quite a lot of kits. On top of that, the Yaris is also the cheapest of the three cars with the automatic option at just under 10 lakh rupees as compared to the 11.78 on the City and about 10.56 on the Verna. So the Yaris is the smarter choice of the three. But within the Yaris range, which is the model we believe that offers the most value? Well, we believe that the G variant of the Yaris offers more value because, yes, you don't get things like the electrically adjustable seats, automatic headlamps, and front parking sensors, but more critically, you get things like automatic climate control, engine start-stop, and keyless entry as well. If a diesel sedan is in your horizon, we believe that the Verna SX variant and the Honda V variant are two cars that you should look at. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, do you agree that the Yaris is the smarter choice of the three? And if you'd like us to compare more cars in this format, well, you can let us know in the comments below. I will see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.